It might not be the structure of your job. It might be the structure of working this way entirely. Welcome back to It's Just Monday, a place for people stuck in jobs they hate who are trying to build a way out. If you're tired of going to a job you hate every day and you've decided it's time to start building a way out, but you don't know where to begin, this video is for you. Once you've made that decision, the next question becomes, now what? So where do you actually start? Most people think they need one clear answer before they can move forward. But what they actually need is one direction to test first. At this stage, you're not trying to figure everything out because nothing is final yet. You're just trying to figure out where to start experimenting. And the way people actually figure things out isn't by thinking about it over and over. It's by trying things, testing things, moving forward a little at a time. So in this video, we're going to figure out how to choose where to start testing first. So what are your options? So let me start by reiterating something. At this stage, you're not trying to figure everything out. You're trying to start testing different paths to eventually find the one that fits. This is a process, and we're just starting that process, so nothing is final yet. This video will be broken into 3 parts: option 1, option 2, and option 3. Option 1 is testing whether a different job solves the problem. Option 2 is testing whether building something small on the side changes how stuck you feel. And option 3 is realizing the issue might not be your job at all. It might be the structure of working this way entirely. Let's get into option 1. The first option, if you hate your job, is exploring whether a different job might actually solve the problem. So the real question becomes, would a better job fix your situation or just change the scenery? This video is meant to be interactive because this only works if you participate and do the actual activities. And I know what you might be thinking. You'll do them later. But if you're a procrastinator like me, you know later never comes. So grab a notebook or several pieces of paper and let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is get to the core of the problem. And that requires answering this question. Why do you hate your job? We say it all the time. I hate my job. But most people never stop and really break down why. I want you to really start thinking about things about your job you hate or dislike, but also things you like or don't mind doing. Draw a line down the middle. On one side, write what you hate or dislike about your job. On the other side, write what you actually like, even if it's only 1 or 2 things. Pause the video if you have to, and jot those things down. So why is this important? Determining why you hate your job will ultimately tell you if another job could work for you, if you need a different career path or field, or if you need an option that allows you to work for yourself. What you are essentially trying to determine is if the hate you feel is job specific, field, or industry specific, or it's how the job is packaged, i.e. the system. Once you've written those things down, Start looking at what side of the page has more weight. If most of what you wrote is about your manager, your schedule, your workload, or the environment you're working in, there's a good chance the problem is the job itself, not the entire field. But if what you wrote down looks more like the type of work you do every day, the tasks themselves, the industry, the expectations of the role, then switching companies might not change how you feel. And if what you wrote sounds more like this, needing more control over your time, wanting more independence, wanting flexibility, wanting to decide what you work on, then the issue might not be your job at all. It might be the structure of working this way entirely. And that's important to know early because it changes what kind of exit plan you actually need. Option 2. So option 1 should give you a strong sense of whether a different job might actually fix what's making you feel stuck. And if that exercise made things clearer for you, that's already progress. You don't have to solve options 2 and 3 right now, but keep watching because in a minute, I'll walk through what your next steps actually look like if testing a different job is the right direction for you. For the rest of us who realized another job probably won't fix the problem, the second option is testing whether building something small on the side changes how stuck you feel. This option isn't about quitting your job. It's not about replacing your income, just starting something small enough to see what happens. Not because it has to become your future career, but because it helps you learn what working on something of your own actually feels like. Because sometimes the feeling of being stuck isn't about where you work. It's about not having anything that belongs to you. Something you choose, something you're building, something that moves at your pace instead of someone else's. And this is where side projects become powerful, not because they make money immediately, but because they change how trapped you feel while you're still there. And sometimes what you discover is that you don't actually want to do it long term. But even that tells you something important about what your exit plan should look like next. If option 2 feels like it fits you, here's something I want you to do. Think about one thing you've already considered trying at some point. Not your perfect idea, not your long-term plan, just something you've thought about more than once. Write that down. Because the goal right now isn't to find the best idea, it's to find the first idea worth testing. And then there's the third option, the possibility that the problem isn't your job and it isn't your industry. It's the structure of working like this at all. Some people don't just want a better job. They want a different relationship with work entirely. Option 2 is about testing whether building something on the side helps. But option 3 is different. It's realizing you may already know that working for someone else long term isn't the direction you want your life to go. And once you recognize that, the kind of exit plan you build starts to change. Because instead of asking, what job should I do next? You start asking, what kind of work structure actually fits me better? If option 3 sounded familiar to you, I want you to think back through your last few jobs and ask yourself this question. Was it just this job that felt wrong? Or did something about working this way keep showing up again and again? The schedule, the lack of control, the environment, the structure. If the same feeling has followed you from job to job, that's important information, because it means the solution might not be changing jobs. It might be changing the structure of how you work entirely. So now you should have a clearer sense of which direction fits you best right now. Not forever, just where to start testing first. And each option leads to a different kind of next step. If option 1 felt like the right fit for you, your next step isn't building a business. It's identifying what needs to change in your next job. The list you made earlier becomes your filter. That might mean applying for roles with different schedules, different managers, different responsibilities, or even the same role in a healthier environment, just to see what actually changes how you feel. It tells you what to avoid and what to look for next. Because the goal isn't escaping work. It's escaping the version of work that isn't working for you. And in the next video in this series, we'll talk about how to test whether a new direction is actually improving things before you make another long-term commitment. If option 2 felt like the right fit for you, your next step is starting something small enough that it doesn't overwhelm your life. Not replacing your income, not fixing everything overnight, just creating something that belongs to you. Because sometimes that first shift isn't financial, it's psychological. And if you're not sure what that something small could be yet, I shared a few realistic directions in my side hustle videos that you can start exploring from here. Start with my video, Side Hustles That Make Sense If You Hate Your Job. I also made another one exploring a different set of options. And I'll link both below if you want to keep testing what might fit. And if option 3 felt like the truth for you, your next step isn't choosing a job. It's starting to think about what kind of work structure actually fits your life. Because when the problem shows up across multiple jobs, the solution usually isn't another job. It's a different path entirely. And that's something we're going to keep talking about on this channel as we build realistic exit plans step by step. But for now, check out 2 videos I made about determining if entrepreneurship might be for you. 7 signs you were meant for entrepreneurship, and signs entrepreneurship might not be for you. And if you're listening to all 3 of these options and thinking, none of them feel clear yet, that doesn't mean you're stuck. It just means you're earlier in the process than you thought. Because sometimes clarity doesn't come from choosing the right option the first time. It comes from testing one option and learning what doesn't fit. Most people think they need one perfect answer before they can move forward. But what you actually need is one direction to start testing first. Because clarity doesn't come from thinking longer. It comes from moving. And remember, on this channel, we're not just surviving Mondays. We're building our way out.